Voters turning out in large numbers to choose the Democratic candidate for New York City mayor. Now, the city's Board of Elections reporting almost 200,000 ballots have been cast across the boroughs since voting opened on June 14th. To help us break down what the turnout could mean for the race ahead, we're joined by the assistant professor at the University of Mount St. Vincent, J.C. Polanco. J.C., good to see you. How are you?
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having me.
Hey, you got it. You got it. We saw a surge in early voting across all 5 boroughs over the weekend, even with the rain. I know how we always talk about the rain, like people don't have jackets or umbrellas. But what do you think is driving this increased engagement? And do you think it's going to continue right up until Election Day?
Yeah, we've doubled the numbers since the first time around with early voting. Right about this time, we're at about 95,000 voters have actually come out to the polls. The mail-ins haven't been counted yet. And I think a lot of it has to do with the excitement behind this campaign. You have former Governor Cuomo against an upstart like Assemblyman Mamdani, who has just saturated our TV space and our social media space. You have a lot of excitement out there with New York City voters. Now, these are closed party primaries, so only Democrats get to vote. A lot of us independents have no say here, so we get to watch the Democrats have all the fun here. But there's a surge of energy throughout the city among young people, unions, those engaged in politics, and those that are regular viewers of yours, Chris.
Cross endorsements are influencing this race. We're seeing this more and more, not something that we saw in the past, but Zoran Mamdani has received support from Brad Lander and Michael Blake as of yesterday. Andrew Cuomo has got Jessica Ramos. They appear to have their alliance working. Is this kind of the way with numbered balloting? Is this what we're going to see moving on in the future? And what do you think it means for this race?
Yeah, it's all about, at this point, it's all about addition, right? Being ranked on that sheet matters. This is a whole new method of voting for New York City voters, this idea of ranked choice and preference. But it's important for each candidate to get as much support as possible from their fellow candidates on each side, right? Because as they drop off the count, the idea is that their supporters will now have, their entire support moving forward. And that matters at a game in which, a few votes may decide who's going to be the winner. You want to be on that actual card of where you're ranked, whether it's second or third. It actually matters. It revolutionizes how we vote moving forward. It's going to create allegiances early on, and that's what you're seeing now. But in a perfect world, if you are cross-endorsing each other, the idea is that all of your voters and all of your supporters are going to go to the individual that you cross-endorsed. But, Chris, that's not going to be necessarily the case, and that's because loyalty is not transferable. It makes it's not always going to work where 100% of the voters are going to support you.
Yeah, you brought up a great point right there. It seems like it's a lot more clear-cut than it really is. And not to mention some of these cross-endorsements that are coming, they don't bring a whole huge haul with them. But although I get what you're saying, that this could come down to a couple of votes at the very end. So, all right, the New York Times editorial board deciding not to endorse anyone in the primary this year. What does this tell you about this race? Does it have that big an impact in your estimation? I mean, they say Mamdani, basically he just doesn't have the experience. Cuomo, they're not thrilled with his ethics background, but they say in a non-endorsement kind of way, Cuomo would be a better fit.
Right. The New York Times is, I think, pushing back a little from making endorsements, full-throated endorsements at least. They made a very careful analysis of the race, looking at the positives and negatives. And remember that most New York City voters are going to vote in this primary. Most of the New York Times readers are going to go out there and actually vote. And what you see here is a cautionary tale about Assemblyman Mamdani's lack of experience. The fact that these things are going to cost a lot of money, free buses, free universal daycare regardless of means, freezing rents across the city will create a shortage in supply of apartments. They break it down very clear. And they do mention how Governor Cuomo, with all his warts and all of the scandals that they address in the article, they do mention all of the positive things: marriage equality, family paid leave, all of the reforms that many of the progressives wanted in New York City regarding criminal justice. It was former Governor Cuomo that gave it to you. He has the best experience. But they did give an edge. They liked Lander a great deal as well in that article. And they mentioned his experience and his progressive policies. So they almost danced around the fact that they're telling New Yorkers, considering your choices, just go with Cuomo. That's what I got from it. That's what a lot of New York City voters that I'm speaking to got from it as well. but we're going to see them endorse less and less as we move along.
Not to use the word enemy, but go with the one you know rather than the one you don't know. All right,
That's what I got from it, Chris.
Yeah, pretty much. I think most are taking that. It'd be interesting to see what Mayor Adams thinks about all this as he's running as an independent. Real quick, before I let you go, because he is running as an independent, does it make him a prohibitive underdog versus whoever wins the Democratic primary?
Well, listen, I think that Mayor Adams is sitting somewhere praying for an Assemblyman Mamdani victory in next week, and that's because he has the best shot of winning as an independent if Mamdani's on the Democratic line than if Cuomo is. So he's praying for a Mamdani victory, no doubt.
It'll be very interesting to see how this plays out 1 week from today. J.C. Polanco, thank you for joining us. Always great to talk to you.
Thank you so much.
You got it. Good to see you. All right, for everything you need to know before you head to the polls, check out our voter guide at cbsnewyork.com.